Hey y'all, welcome back to the Herbal Hookers YouTube channel. Episode 2, How to Crochet Fringe Bags. I want to give a shout out to Simone for creating these beautiful pictures for me. I will tag her Instagram below. Let's get right into it. For this tutorial, you'll need a 5.0mm hook, as well as Wool and the Gang Jersey Be Good brand. This is basically just t-shirt yarn, so any brand will work. You will be needing about 2 skeins of this yarn. You'll definitely have yarn left over, but 2 to be safe. In this project, we'll be using a slip knot. If you do not use a slip knot, please refer to episode 1, part 1 to learn. You'll also need to learn how to do a single crochet for this project as well. And you can also find that on part 1 too. After you create your slip knot, we're going to chain up 25. Alright, we have finished our 25 chains and we are now ready for round 1. For this project, we'll be working each row into single crochets. So as normal, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook and single crochet. Throughout this video, you may notice me struggling to get the yarn through the loops. This is because this yarn is a little tougher than regular yarn to work with. So keep that in mind if you have more sensitive hands or you get hand cramps easily. This is definitely a hand cramper type of yarn. For the next 15 rows, we will continue doing single crochets across. I don't want you guys to watch me struggle no longer, so I'll meet you at the end of the first row. Now we are almost complete with our first row. Here's a preview of what your project should begin looking like. Now to finish off our first row, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. To begin the second row, we are going to go into the second stitch from the hook. Insert the hook, yarn over 1, pull through 1, and pull through 2. Just a reminder of how to do a single crochet. Continue these steps until you have 15 rows complete. I'll meet back up with you when I complete mine. Feel free to pause the video here. Now that we have completed our next 15 rows, we are ready to go into row 16, which is a little bit different. For this row, we are going to chain 1, turn our work, and go into the second stitch from the hook. But for this time, we are only going to work into the back loops. Into the back loops only. Continue single crochets across row 16 as you normally would. Row 16 is complete. Going through the back loops makes it a little easier when we add our fringe. Now on to row 17. Chain 1 and turn your work. For this one, we will resume going to both the front and back loops like we normally would with single crochets. Once you create 9 single crochets in row 17, pause there. Alright, now on to creating our gap for our handle. For this, we're simply going to chain 8 and skip 8. After counting down 8 stitches into the next stitch, you're going to continue with your single crochets and finish off the row. Now we are almost complete with our front side of our purse. Just up 2 more rows of single crochets and you can finish off the front side. After adding up 2 more rows of single crochet, this is what we are left with. To finish off your project, you're simply going to chain 1, pull up your loop, and cut it off with the scissors. Make sure to tighten your knot at the end so you don't have to deal with unraveling. For this project, you will need to create 2 panels for the front and back of the purse. You can choose to either A, rewind this video and rewatch and rework alongside me, or you can refer to the description box for the written pattern for the back. Alright, now that we have our 2 panels complete, we're ready for the next step. Stitch markers are optional for this step. If you do decide to use them, here's a little tutorial. You just want to put one in each corner, matching them up so that you make sure that you evenly single crochet around. I personally prefer not to use stitch markers, so I will not be using them throughout this video. Alright, now let's assemble this project. We're going to go through the front panel and the back panel. It is very important that the row that you did the back loops only is facing the front. This is where the fringe will be added. To begin assembling the project, we are going to create a slip knot as we would with any other project. We are going to pull this loop through both the back and front of this project. And then we are going to chain 1. For this project, I worked single crochets around. You can also choose to do slip stitches. Either one will work perfectly. Alright, I'm going to continue down this side with single crochets. I will meet you at the corners as we will do a little bit different on each corner of this project. Now that we have made it to the corner of our bag, we are going to make sure to put 2 single crochets into that same corner stitch. Now you will continue single crochets along the bottom. Once you complete your single crochets along the bottom, don't forget to put 2 single crochets into the corner stitch, and then continue single crocheting up the other side. I'll meet you there. Once you create your single crochets from both sides in the bottom of your bag, you're ready to finish off your project by completing a chain 1, pulling through your loop, and snipping off the extra yarn. Here you will notice me cutting off all the excess yarn as well as weaving in yarn that is hanging loose. Feel free to pause here to clean up your project. Now for the fun stuff, it's time to add in our fringe. For our fringe, we are going to measure from the row that we did our back loops on to just below the purse. We want to leave a little extra because at the end we'll need to trim, and we don't want some to be too short. For this project, you will need 24 pieces of string matching the same length. For inserting our fringe, we are going to insert a hook from top to bottom, fold our fringe piece in half, and pull it through. Now we are going to yarn over with our 2 hanging strings and pull it through the loop. Feel free to pause, rewind, and rewatch, and we'll continue the same pattern across the whole front of the bag. Alright, now we have added all 24 strings of fringe. As you can notice at the bottom, it looks a little rough, so let's clean it up. I will suggest using a little bit better scissors than mine. I swear I'm going to invest in some more soon. That's all that there is to it. I hope that it was simple for you. If you have any questions, make sure to comment below. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.